Question for you. Would you get a Nintendo Switch Lite in 2024? In May of this year, 141 million Nintendo Switches were sold. So there's a fair chance that someone watching this video already has a Switch, or maybe is just interested in it. But I guarantee you, you've never had this one yet. Nintendo revealed in their June Direct a special edition Nintendo Switch Lite, the Hyrule Edition, set to launch on September of 26, along with the latest entry of the Legend of Zelda series, The Echoes of Wisdom. Now, first and foremost, that's a really clean looking Switch Lite. And second of all, why? Like why of all times would you be promoting a new special edition Nintendo Switch? A Switch Lite for that matter. Well, here's the thing. They're not doing this arbitrarily. There's legitimate intent behind this move, and we're going to talk about it. Starting with how they even got here. We all know that Nintendo Switch is one of Nintendo's most popular video game consoles. Now, I spoke about the sales earlier, but the Switch was shown as the third best selling video game console of all time. Again, 144 million units sold, with the Nintendo DS at 154 million, the PlayStation 2 leading at 159 million. Two of those consoles are ranked in the top 3 of all time. So what's the problem? Well, Nintendo wants the Switch to sell very well. They want it to continue selling. I'm not sure if they're really aiming for first place, or they just don't want the momentum to stop until the very end. The issue is that, well, the Switch is 7 years old. It was released in 2017 with specs and performances equivalent to what? Like a PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, maybe a little bit more than that. Fact check me on that. Don't get me wrong, the games that have come out on the Switch, especially the first party ones, have been great. But the need to innovate with new technologies and still appeal to customers and investors is still an ongoing thing. So as they prepare the Switch successor in the background, it becomes a question of how do they continue to market the Switch, especially when the Nintendo president announced on Twitter/X that there would be a Switch successor announced sometime within the fiscal year. Well, take a look at the post again. Notice that Furukawa specified that the June Nintendo Direct won't mention anything about the successor and would instead focus on like Switch software. Well, we've seen the Direct now, and to my surprise, even though there were a fair number of remakes and ports, there were also brand new games announced there, like Mario and Luigi Brothership, Super Mario Party Jamboree, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and Metroid Prime 4. Prime 4 might actually be a launch game for the Switch successor, in my opinion. But aside from that, there's a fair number of Switch games coming out in the later half of this year, including the third-party titles. The games I just listed, I'm getting them. We haven't even talked about the continued support of the NSO, which is growing by the year, albeit slowly. But it's giving people reasons to stay subscribed to that. And with all this, you kind of don't really think about the Switch successor. There's just games coming out in the later half of the year. Again, Nintendo wants the Switch to continue to sell, and they're in a good position to make any type of big move. As a company that's known to hold off on games until they can find a good spot in the year where there's nothing going on just to place them, they gotta have a fair number of tricks left in the bag, and they're in a spot now where they can utilize any tactic to give people a opportunity to just spend on them. And one of those tactics is a special edition console. So now we made full circle to Nintendo Switch Lite, the Hyrule Edition. It's still interesting though that Nintendo chose a Switch Lite to begin with this one, huh? Well, I think there's a reason for that one. See, the original Nintendo Switch Lite was released at the same time as Link's Awakening for the Switch. It might be a coincidence, but with the new Hyrule Edition releasing the same day as Echoes of Wisdom, it feels like the isometric Zeldas and the Switch Lites just kind of go hand in hand. I do think choosing a Switch Lite for the special edition is a good call, actually. Since that the handheld hasn't really had a lot of good special editions, well, anyway, nearly as compelling as, say, maybe the Dialga and Palkia one for, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl a few years ago. Meanwhile, the Nintendo Switch and the Switch OLED have had some pretty impressive looking special editions. Moreover, we just had a Legend of Zelda themed Switch OLED like last year. I have it. So whether you have a Switch or not, this special edition Switch Lite might have the most potential reach out of any combination of the first party games and the Switch models this year. We might actually end up having them though, who knows. Personally, I think that a Mario and Luigi themed Nintendo Switch would be pretty cool. So back to the question. Would you buy a Nintendo Switch Lite in 2024? Nintendo certainly wants you to do it. I think you can't really go wrong with a Zelda special edition. The designs are just way too cool to really pass up sometimes. The Switch Lite is also $200, so if you have some spare money or you want to start picking up Switch games, the Switch Lite might actually be a good choice for you. Let me know. Thanks for watching. Like the video if it helped, subscribe to the Tanuki channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.